What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody, check it out. Let's go ahead and talk about the Thunderbolts, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, back in theaters. All right. And normally, when you see numbers like this for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it bodes well for the box office. 88% over here for the critics for Thunderbolts. All right. The critics are loving it. 94% for the audience score. The audience is loving it. And normally when you see these two totals, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, people must be going to the theaters, flocking in, checking this movie out. The movie sounds like it's going to get really good word of mouth. And yeah, we'll actually have to see what that looks like in the second weekend. But this first weekend, not so good, all right? Thunderbolts settling in at $76 million for the opening. That's bad. That is a bad opening. And you start to wonder, okay, where did the audience go? You know? Again, normally when you see a number like this, 94% from the audience, that means audiences are loving this. The word of mouth is out there. Hey, Thunderbolts is good. Go check it out. That's normally what you would see when it comes to a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. But it seems like audiences are already checked out. Like, yeah, $76 million. This ain't good. And it's the same thing internationally. All right. Thunderbolts rolls to $162 million plus for a global opening. That's bad. That tells me that people across the world have checked out on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. People no longer care about this. It's not just America. It's not just the West. It's everywhere this movie has landed at $162 million. That's it? That's all? That's all y'all can do? Yeah, that's bad news, man. That's all the way around bad news. I showed this on the previous video. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness had a $450 million global debut. This was 3 years ago, exact same weekend, 3 years ago. Marvel was clocking in at $450 million globally. And now we're at $162 million. What does this tell you? This tells you people have checked out. Where is the audience? Nobody wanted to watch this movie. Nobody came to watch this movie. That's the problem. And it's diminishing returns. All right. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing diminishing returns after diminishing returns when it comes to Marvel. The last movie that came out, Captain America, Brave New World. All right. This movie only made, what was it? $88 million on its opening weekend. So compare this domestic total of $88 million just a couple of months ago. All right. To this total of $76 million. That tells you, again, what I said before, that Marvel builds upon itself. And if the last movie is trash, nobody's coming to check the next movie. And that's exactly what you're seeing. Even though this movie apparently is good, you know, according to critics and audiences. People are liking this movie. But here's what the audience says. Here's what the audience thinks about you, Marvel. They're done. They're tired. They're checked out. They're not dealing with it anymore. You know, the audiences are gone. I don't think Marvel understands how much the audiences have checked out of their franchise. We are done. People are not coming to watch this anymore. And a lot of it has to do with way too much Marvel, you know, crammed in to such a short period of time. I've said this before, that in the first 3 phases, you had 22 movies spread out over 11 years. All right, over 11 years, you had 22 movies. That's 2 movies a year. And there were no TV series or none of that mixed into it at all. It was just 22 movies. That's it. That's all. Yeah, look at phase 4. Phase 4. This is phase 4. Started with WandaVision, went all the way down to Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So in 2 years, you had 16 projects between Disney Plus TV shows and movies. 16 projects. Compare that to the 22 movies you had spread out over 11 years. And then you got 16 in 2 years. Way too much, way too fast, way too soon. And people are burnt out. They're like, I'm done. I can't keep up with all of this crap. This is too much. And so, yeah, the box office reflects it. Cosmic Book News posted this up. Sorry, folks. As expected, following Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts is the next box office bomb from Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. Thunderbolts actually scores the second worst MCU opening of all time when you factor in inflation, only outperforming the Marvels. It fails to even beat The Eternals. The Eternals, a movie that came out during the height of the pandemic. It failed to beat that. Tells you everything you need to know. Marvel is nothing but diminishing returns. Nobody's checking for this franchise anymore. The audiences are gone. You've lost the normies, all right? The normies were with you, all right? The regular general audience I'm talking about. They were with you during the first 3 phases because Marvel felt different. It felt special. But now when you just try to go all the way to the wall with it and stack up all of these worthless, pointless TV shows and movies, nobody cares anymore. You started doubling and tripling down on characters nobody gave an absolute fuck about. Nobody cared about Miss Marvel, but you made a whole series about her. All right? Nobody cared about Captain Marvel. You should have known that after you dropped Captain Marvel in the first 3 phases. In phase 3. Nobody cares about this character, but yet you decided to go and make a sequel to Captain Marvel, and yeah, it was the worst thing that Marvel ever produced. And ever since then, nobody's checking for this entire franchise. Nobody cares, all right? The flick cost a massive $180 million plus likely another $100 million in marketing. It will be lucky to hit $400 million unless it has legs. Its second weekend will be a big test. That's what I said. I said, if this thing doesn't hit $400 million in the total worldwide box office, it is nothing but an abject failure. It is one of the biggest failures that Marvel has ever had, especially considering that this is what the audience score looks like. So the audience is saying, yo, we like this. This is good. Look, I think it's a terrible movie, or at least it's a mid movie. It's very, very below average, in my opinion. You can watch my review. It's a very mid below average movie, but audiences are liking it. And I'm like, all right, fine. Audience is liking it, but nobody's going to watch it. So it's really going to depend on what the word of mouth looks like. What does the word of mouth look like? Is it enough to boost it above $400 million? That is a big question mark, considering that its opening weekend is coming in less than Captain America Brave New World. And Captain America Brave New World, let's go back and look at it, only made $414 million worldwide. So yeah, it's not looking good whatsoever for this movie. The trades report that Thunderbolts opened at $76 million, which is right in line with the estimates. The foreign gross is also soft at $86.1 million, which gives the Thunderbolts the current $162.1 million worldwide. It guessed the break-even number, guessing the break-even number for Thunderbolts is around $500 to $600 million. So it's at least looking like another Marvel movie will lose at least $100 million for Disney. It is what it is, Marvel. It is what it is. And look, I think that this character right here, this is one of the biggest reasons. Nobody cares about Yelena. I would have, if this movie was about Bucky, I think more people would have went and watched it. It's like, yo, this is about Bucky. Bucky is the lead character. I think people would have went and watched this movie. But when you make it about Yelena, a character, again, I could care less about. Maybe other people like this character and think this character is dope. I think this character is boring. I have never watched a more boring character. I don't care what happens to her. She could have died in this movie for all I care. But nevertheless, people like her. All right, fine. If you like this character, you better go out and support her, all right? Because this little $162 million in the opening weekend, yeah, this ain't going to get it done. All right, you guys are going to need to throw in a whole lot of support for Yelena. And I have nothing against Florence Pugh. She did the best with what the material was. I just think the character just does not work. She is not an interesting character. Bucky should have been the lead of this movie. If Bucky's the lead of Thunderbolts, I think it's a easy $600 million. Because people care about Bucky. We've been following Bucky since the first phase. All right, we've been following Bucky since Captain America First Avengers. Why would you not go in and say, all right, let's go ahead and do Bucky right. Let's make a good Bucky movie. We'll wrap it around the team element. We'll make it the Thunderbolts. But this is really Bucky's movie. It's not. It's a hodgepodge mishmash with Yelena at the center. Yep, Thunderbolts bombs with $76 million opening box office. This is, again, Cosmic Book News, second worst MCU offering. Look, if Marvel wants to get itself back on track, they're going to have to start doing what?
Listen to the fans.
The fans have been telling them this whole time that we don't care about these characters. We don't care about the Thunderbolts, no matter how good the movie is. Again, let's go back and look at the quality. Let's just assume that the quality is there. It does not matter. If you give us characters we don't care about, the general audience is checked out. They are gone. The audience does not care about what Marvel is doing right now. All right, again, let's compare this to the $450 million global opening for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and then peeling that right back to the Thunderbolts, which only did $162 million. That's like damn near a $300 million difference. Audiences are gone. It's not just in America. It's all over the world, all right? Globally. People are done with this. I think Marvel is at the point right now where they need to really strongly think about putting everything on ice for about 5 years. Everything is on ice for the next 5 years. They can build up the X-Men, and Kevin Feige came out with this. Yeah, Culture Crave posted this up. Kevin Feige reportedly has a 10-year plan for X-Men beyond the upcoming Avengers film. Yeah, focus on the X-Men. Focus on the X-Men, maybe the Fantastic Four, and let Avengers and all of these other side characters, let them sit dormant, for about 5 of those 10 years, and then maybe slowly bleed them back in. Who said that they should have focused on the X-Men and the Fantastic Four immediately after Endgame was over and done with? Who said that, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, I did. I said that they should do that. They should have immediately said, all right, cool. We got the X-Men. Let's build up the X-Men. Let's build up Fantastic Four. Let's focus there. Let's focus there. Let's not try to speed run it. Let's focus right there. We're going to stay here for the next, 5-6 years, and then we will slowly bring back all the other characters. It would have been fine. And think about this. If they had did that, if they said, all right, we're going to push pause on all the Avengers MCU stuff, and we're going to just focus on the X-Men, and we'll start it in 2021. We'll get an X-Men TV show or movie building up there, and then we'll just go forward. By the time we get to 2026, which is next year, when they plan on bringing the Avengers back, it would have been just fine. Man.
Listen to the fans.
All you got to do is listen to the fans, Marvel, okay? You didn't have to go through burning up all of this money, doing all of this silly bullshit that nobody cares about. Nobody cares about any of this. All right, with the exception of maybe Spider-Man No Way Home. Outside of Spider-Man No Way Home, this was a giant nothing burger. This entire phase. And then you get to phase 5, which was launched with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That was a dud. Everything that's after that, nobody gives a damn. Nobody cares about the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now. That's where the audience has checked out. The audience is done. All right. I think it bears repeating. All right. Let's go back to this once again. This is where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is at right now with its most recent offering, $162 million in the global box office. Again, compared to $450 million 3 years ago. Tells you everything you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see what happens with the MCU going forward. The second weekend for Thunderbolts is going to be huge. They got to make sure that, or they got to cross their fingers and hope. There ain't nothing they can do now. They can't make sure of nothing. They just got to trust that the audience, word of mouth, is going to go out and fuel this movie's box office to do better than what it did in its opening weekend, or at least not have a major drop. Anything above, let's say, like a 55, 56, 57% drop, that's big. If it's getting up into the 60s, it's a bad move for Marvel. They got to hope for holds because, look, at the end of this month, we got Stitch Impossible. Or Mission Stitch, or whatever you want to call it. With Mission Impossible, the Final Reckoning, which a lot of people are saying is going to make a lot of money. A lot of people are going to go and check for that. And then you got Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, and Box Office Pro, they talking about Lilo and Stitch is looking at $200 million domestically for the opening weekend. $200 million all by itself. Aside from whatever Mission Impossible is going to do. Man, Thunderbolts going to be a memory. People going to forget this movie. Oh, yeah, that's right, Thunderbolts. Yeah, whatever. I'm watching Lilo and Stitch. I'm watching Mission Impossible. Man, this thing is going to get completely memory hold. Yeah, so they got about maybe 3 weeks, and then it's over. Whatever that movie is done by the end of those 3 weeks, that's about it. That's all it's going to do. So, yeah, they got to get it cracking. They better hope that this box office reflects some of this, all right? Some of these critic scores, they better hope that it does this because right now it's not looking good. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this, man. Thunderbolts. Hey, some of y'all liked it. All right, I seen the comments, and you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to love it. I don't think it's good, but you're entitled to love the movie. If you think the movie is great, good for you. But the box office does not reflect it, and it shows that Marvel really needs to do some soul searching. They need to start talking to Kevin Feige about how he has handled this franchise. All right, because he's dropped the ball in major ways, with the characters, with the amount of stories that he's been cranking out. I got a video coming up about that as well, because now he's trying to say, oh, it ain't my fault. It was Disney. Disney wanted all of this content. Yeah, all right, bro. Well, you could have still gave us good content, so let's lose that argument. All right. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this situation. Go ahead, jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.